Hi, my name is Angie Atkinson. I'm a certified life coach, an author, and a survivor of narcissistic abuse. Today at queenbeing.com, I'm going to share with you 103 red flags, shocking red flags that prove that you're involved with a narcissist. Let's get started. Okay, so like I said, my name's Angie Atkinson. I'm a certified life coach and an author. You can get more information about me at queenbeing.com, and that's also a place where you can get a lot of free resources for survivors and of narcissistic abuse, including a lot of free stuff and tons of free articles and information. Also, you could go to booksangiewrote.com if you're interested in getting my books, or narcissismsupportcoach.com for personalized coaching, as well as a free 5-day email course that will basically change your life in 15 minutes a day. It's pretty cool. Only takes 5 days and it's totally free. Okay, so let's go at it. Oh, before we get started with our 103 ways to tell if someone's a narcissist, or red flags to see if someone's a narcissist, I just want to tell you in my office today, the previous videos have been recorded in my basement, and I'm in the process of building a new studio here in my office. Obviously, it's not done yet, but it's coming together, and I expect to be able to debut it hopefully by the beginning of next week. So stay tuned for that. All right. So we're just going to do this. Someone mentioned to me that they liked the succinct delivery of the last 103 video I did. So today, let's do it this way. This is 103 red flags of a narcissist. If any of these things are confusing for you, or if you need to have more information about them, please comment below and I'll share the information with you there. Or you may go to queenbeing.com and I will be very happy to um, it's all there. You can go to queenbeing.com and search the term and you'll find it. Otherwise, just reach out. I'm happy to help you out. Okay, let's do it. So the first one is love bombing. The first red flag of a narcissist. It happens early. It's called love bombing, and it is when a person basically puts you up on a pedestal and makes you feel like the most amazing person alive, and you think you found your soulmate. It sucks because obviously, if it's a narcissist, not a soulmate. I don't think they're actually capable of that whole soulmate thing. But anyway, moving on, let's just do this. Number two, they have a quickness about them. They sweep you off your feet very early in the relationship. Yeah, I twitched a little on that one, sorry. uh, they seem too good to be true. The narcissist always wants to know everything about you. Of course, even though that seems initially to be sweet and awesome about him, a lot of times they use everything they learn about you to hurt you later, or to against you. They use it against you. Yeah, I probably actually said that here. Okay, here's another one. They have a lot of really bad things to say about their ex, and I'm talking about a lot. And quite honestly, you might feel sorry for a narcissist because of the horrible situation they had with their ex. And really quickly, I'll just tell you that they'll use that against you in the future. And as you may already be aware, they will also say these things about you to someone else in the future in order to get attention or sympathy or sex or whatever. All right. Number six, they claim to be the one that always has to do all the work in every relationship they have, romantic or otherwise. So maybe they'll have a fight with one of their friends. Why do I always have to be the one to call my friend and say I'm sorry? Or maybe, you notice that they don't have any friends, or that their friends are always new friends, not always old friends, because old friends don't stick around for people who are rude and hateful and mean and not nice. Okay. Number seven, they may change jobs often. This is not always the case, but I have heard from many victims of narcissists that they either don't have a job or they change jobs often. Um, Number eight, did I just say six and then eight? Let's have a candid moment here, shall we? Nope, I'm good. Seven. Okay. Number eight, they have a lot of amazing stories, although none that you've actually seen happen firsthand. And those that you do know about firsthand are often, you can actually hear the person lie right in front of you. And if you dare to question them, you can expect backlash. So, for example, let's say a narcissist mother pretends that her daughter's the head cheerleader, but really her daughter's like first chair in the band. And so maybe the narcissist mother would later recount a story of the daughter's cheerleading when the daughter was really sitting up in the stands with the band. And instead of being proud of her daughter for being first chair in the band or whatever, the mother is ashamed that she wasn't a cheerleader. So the mother lies, and when the daughter tries to call her out on it, the daughter is humiliated publicly or later at home. So, awesome stuff. Yep. All right. Number 9 claims to be incredibly faithful. There's a typo again. To every woman he's ever been with, or man she's ever been with, but admits to a single indiscretion or error in judgment. Blames the ex, states she's insanely jealous, and says he feels really, really, really bad about it. So, just a real quick example. So, say that, you know, Joe Blow and you know, Jane Doe are over here in a relationship, and Joe Blow leaves Jane Doe, and because he cheated on her, right, or she leaves him, or whatever. Well, then Joe Blow meets, Mary So down the street, right? You like my rhymes there? Meets Mary So down the street, and Mary So hears a horrible story about how Jane Doe was a cold fish and she never gave him any attention or affection. And since she was always so jealous and accusing him anyway, he just had to do it. And gosh, as soon as it happened, he felt so horrible. So, what are you going to think when you hear Joe Blow say that, Mary So? You're going to think that that's a one time deal for him. It's a one off. It's not going to happen again. The truth is, that's just him laying the tile for future indiscretions of his own. It's not funny, but the truth is that it's literally him doing what he does. And when you get to the point where you aren't getting that, then yeah, you understand. You will, if you're not getting the sad story, the sob story, and that I need someone to make me feel better story, then you're going to end up getting the whole story about how he's it was a one-time deal and da da da. But then once you get past hearing the story and you're in the relationship, that's when you come around. And actually, if you go to queenbeing.com and you search up narcissistic cycle or triangulation or narcissistic harem, yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, moving on. Number 10, nothing's ever his fault. Y'all already know. Number 11, he makes you feel, or she, I want to just say this again, once I've said this a million times. Typically, narcissists, they can be male or female, just slightly more prevalent in the male population, according to my research. And since the majority of my readers and viewers are female, I do tend to say he, but a narcissist can also be your mother, not just your lover, not just your father or your brother or whatever. Narcissist can be anybody. So in this case, I'm talking about a broad spectrum of narcissism, but also primarily people who live with a narcissist or have lived with a narcissist. Okay. So in this case, number 11, he or she makes you feel anxious or on edge, but still wants you to feel, but you still feel like you want to spend time with him or her, right? Now, initially, you might just think that's just, jitters about a new relationship. But then what happens is, say you go stay the night at your sister's house one night, and you're just so relieved to get a break from him, but then you can't go to sleep and you end up driving home in the middle of the night because you just can't stand to be away from him. That's an addiction, my friend. And that's what these narcissists are to us. They become addictions because we are so addicted to the idea that possibly we can fix them, or the idea of what they told us they were and they aren't really. We're addicted to our perception of what we think they should be. See what I mean? Okay. All right, moving on. Number 12, he withholds attention, or she withholds attention, sex, love when you don't please him or her. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It could be in the form of the silent treatment. It could be in the form of, no more sex. It could be in the form of not showing up for you when you need him or her. They withhold when they don't get what they want. Okay. Always undermines your self-esteem. You know what I'm talking about. Don't need to explain that, do I? Number 14, early in the relationship, blows up your phone and your Facebook timeline with comments, texts, and loves, right? That's a new one. But the thing is that's the love bombing thing, okay? They're blowing up your phone, blowing up your Facebook timeline, showering you with more attention and love than you ever thought possible. And maybe you're somebody who needs that or would like to have that in your life. And so when you get a little taste of it, you think, oh, I want more of that. And that's what happens with a narcissist. But then once the narcissist gets bored with giving you that attention, or you're not giving him enough reciprocation, or he finds somebody else to be interested in, or something else to be interested in, you're quickly discarded after you're devalued and treated worse. So it's a process. And then, of course, once he realizes he's about to lose you, he may go swoop back into that love bombing phase. And that's why you stick around, because you wait for those love bombing phases. But what happens is that over time, they become further and further apart, and the bad times become bigger and bigger. So, yeah. All right. Number 15, declares soulmate status too soon. You know, early in the relationship. Number 16, may compare you to exes, friends, and family members during the during the idealization phase. This could sound like, oh my gosh, you're so much better than all those people. Number 17, during the devalue and discard phases, the comparisons will be negative and used against you. You know. All right, moving on. Number 18, lies, lies. Oh, and more lies. Number 19, they're always making excuses. Number 20, you can't seem to scare them unless you threaten to expose them, in which case, of course, they'll just retaliate and abuse you until you conform, unless you leave them. Oh, that's right. Number 21, always seeking thrills or excitement, easily bored. You know anybody like that? Hmm. Number 22, expects to be entertained. How often have you been in the middle of something and your narcissist comes forward and says, oh, come spend time with me. And doesn't really matter if you're actually available to spend time with them or not. Yep. Oops. Okay. Number 23, requires that you stop whatever you're doing to offer yourself up as supply if necessary. Didn't I just say that? Yeah, same deal. Okay. Number 24 is overly concerned with your well being, excessively even. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes some narcissists will use your ability to be concerned about them, or their ability to be concerned about you as a way to control you. So they'll come to you and they'll say stuff like, "Well, I'm just really, really worried about you," and of course, it's always underhanded. Are you sure you need to eat that? You've been gaining a little weight lately, or you know, anything like that. Underhanded stuff. But initially, it feels a lot like being taken care of, which a lot of us have not experienced, and a lot in our lifetime. And so, obviously, it's a negative situation. All right. Number 25. Our list is getting long here, right? We're going to keep going. Number 25. Controls or attempts to control you through controlling and monitoring your daily activities. So again, just getting in touch with everything that you are, and taking control of it. Starts out slowly, feels like being taken care of, ends up being you're being controlled. It's no good. All right. Number 26, tries to make you dependent on him or her by doing things for you, housework, cooking, etc. Sometimes this is more of a female narcissist thing, but even just recently, I was with a couple who, the husband was the stay-at-home dad and also, unfortunately, the narcissist. And it was very interesting to watch him cut down the mother's relationship with her children, and to brag about his own, and then to complain about how she doesn't know how to cook while she's going out and earning the money for the family and taking the family, to the grocery store and doing all the things that she needs to do as a baby. And so she's feeling insecure about her relationship with the baby when, unfortunately, she's being undermined by the father. So it's awesome. But he makes her feel bad about all that. And she does the housework, but he still wants her to cook and clean, which I guess is not exactly this. But anyway, some narcissists may try to make you financially dependent on them or financially engaged with them. So that's a tough one. Okay. And sorry about my little pop up there. They also might financially abuse you. I've done an hour and a half long seminar on this at one point. There's a video, I think a 20-minute video on my YouTube channel about it. Financial abuse. It's a horrible thing, and it's often a way that narcissists retain control, because not only do they get in touch with, they get their hands around your money, but they get your hands around your ability to spend your money and your ability to control your money, and they start to spend it or hide it or God forbid, they steal it sometimes, even from their own children's mouths. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean. The groceries, they'll put you out of your grocery situation. All right, number 29, they may expect or require you to fund their lifestyle. You know what I'm talking about. They may want every second of your time. They have constant texts and phone calls because they want to make sure they know where you are at all times. They can't stand to be away from you. And they get moody or distant if you deny them for literally any reason. Anything, it doesn't matter. Number 33, they get mad when you aren't available on demand. You know what I'm talking about. Number 34, they want to be your only everything. They want to be your friend. They want to be your family member. They want to be your lover and your everything because again, if you could make your life all about them, that's well pretty much what they've been looking for all along. So, yep. All right. Number 35, they make it very difficult for you to keep your commitments to other people sometimes, and that can be um, very hard on your soul, especially if those people are your children or your other family members or even your work, because you can end up actually losing out, losing your job even, or losing your relationship with other people because the narcissist makes it very difficult to stay connected sometimes. Number 36, eventually they cause you to stop making plans or even attempting to contact other people because, quite honestly, you're just exhausted and you don't want to deal with the day to day little things because it feels so stressful in your situation that when you're going on a day to day basis where you're looking at your family and you're looking at all the things you're dealing with and everything is just outrageous. You just don't want to fight. You don't want to fight. You look at your children and you think, gosh, I want everything to stay peaceful, and so you stop trying. You just wait for them to tell you what you're going to do because you know that's how it's going to go anyway, and eventually you just stop fighting. It sucks, but it's true. All right, number 37, being overly and excessively critical of people in their lives. So, if you're dealing with a narcissist, you will see they will find a reason. They will follow you around and tell you what you're doing wrong. And or if they don't follow you around, then every time they have an opportunity to point themselves in the direction of right and point you in the direction of wrong, guess what? They're doing it. Yeah, that's right. All right, number 38. He treats his mom like crap or like a saint or some combination of those two things. Uh, and what this means is either, they say that parents have something to do with someone turning into a narcissist, and I think that's true up to a point in some cases. But in some cases, mom's also going to be a narcissist, and in other cases, um, she'll be able to do no wrong, and sometimes, she might actually very obviously be the problem, but obviously there's not a whole lot you can say about that in that case unless he agrees with you, which never know. All right. 30 anyway, the point about 38 is there's a weird thing with his mom. It's not a normal healthy relationship in many cases. All right, number 39. He points out all the things about you that are better than his ex, and this is of course in the beginning of the relationship during the love bombing phase. And like I said before, this is one of those situations where he wants to control you. I've said this in other videos. He does not want to. He does want to build you up because he wants to make you to endear you to him, right? But during that period of time when he's doing that love bombing thing to you and he's talking about the ex, it's not only about the fact that he thinks you're so much better than the ex. He's idealizing you at this point, okay? And so when this is happening, he is putting himself in a position to be, to be a to tell you this is what I need from you, okay? Because this person didn't give me that stuff, but I think you're better than that person, and therefore I know you're going to give me the stuff that I need. And this is a really great way to manipulate people. For men who are manipulated by women in this situation, they want to feel like the hero, and they want to feel, and that's just a normal thing for men to want to feel like a hero. And so, women, female narcissists will play very, very heavily on that aspect of men, and they will also um, they will they will also want to be in control of everything the man thinks, says, and does. And male narcissists also behave that way up to a point, but they are going to be more likely to, to point out things like she cheated, which she probably didn't, honestly, or if she did, he probably deserved it. Not that there's such a thing, but you know what I'm talking about. Maybe it was a retaliation cheat because, you know, maybe he cheated or maybe he has a paranoia issue, or maybe he just needs you to be incredibly loyal to him or to be able to drop everything. What you realize in hindsight, when this has happened to you, is that you realize that all of these promises that you make to them early in the relationship, when you tell them this is exactly what I need. This is, all the promises when they say to you, she didn't do this for me, you know, she never listened to me, she never was there for me. Then what you do is you go, I will not let him feel that way. She made me feel unloved. And you go, gosh, that's so terrible. I feel so bad for him. I don't want him to feel unloved, so I'm going to just love him even harder. You see what I'm saying? I know that sounds very basic, but it's true. It's really, really how a lot of us think, and we don't realize it at the time, but that's what happens. So I'm off track again. Let me get back on track, shall I? All right. Did I skip one? Yeah. Points out all the things. Okay, right. Okay, and so number 40, he tells you a big sob story about his life. I'm not going to go into details. You know what I'm talking about. Again, I just kind of talked about it. And then he claims to have been cheated on or abused by an ex. That's another thing, or she. Again, another way to control, because when you use that story, you endear a person to you, and also you make them want to protect you from that pain again. And again, that really does happen with either males or females for different reasons, but it does. Um, Number 42, never takes the blame. You already know. Narcissistic flip. Look it up on queenbeing.com. All right. Number 43, lots of special accomplishments that require praise, and God forbid you don't offer up enough praise. Narcissists need praise, and so they will make things, oh, I got this big award at work, and really it was just like good job, man, or oh, you didn't screw up today, kind of. They exaggerate everything, and they want you to exaggerate with them the level of praise. Number 44, they get testy if you aren't overly appreciative of even the smallest things. You know what I'm talking about? Number 45, they seem to take literally everything personally. Yeah, I know, it's true. 46, oddly and easily upset, often rude to waiters. Now, there's also the flip side of this where they treat wait staff like gold and treat you like crap. That happens sometimes too. You know what I'm talking about? The often rude to waiters thing, a lot of times it'll happen early in, and it's a good red flag. It's a big red flag with a narcissist, with an early dating or a relationship situation. If you're with somebody and they are just unreasonably rude to a waiter, or unreasonably rude to any sort of person in a service position, that's a big red flag. Think about it. Yeah. Number 47, may blatantly flirt with members of the opposite sex in front of you. Now, what's interesting about this is that sometimes this will not happen initially, but it will start to happen later in the relationship. Or it will always happen, and he will accuse you of being insecure or whatever, psycho or paranoid, if you have the nerve to say that's not okay with me, you know. So, number 48, makes lewd comments about other men and or women in your presence. Same deal. Yeah. 49, shows you off like a toy or hides you away like a cast off. This probably depends on A, what phase in the relationship you are, and B, how much the abuse has affected your own personal appearance and attitude and behavior, because we become shells of ourselves. Personally, I ended up a lot heavier than I normally would have been, and I ended up, it was terrible. I was, I showered. I didn't do my hair. I didn't do my makeup. I was miserable. I felt terrible about myself. So I think I might have been a cast off at that point. All right. Number 50, interrupts often. That's because the thing's never about them, or when something isn't about them, they need to throw a fit. Anyway, 51, never seems to listen, always seems to be waiting until you stop talking so he can say the next thing in his head. Y'all know, right? Because they don't actually listen, they just wait to speak. 52, is never on your side. Defends other people, even complete strangers he doesn't even know, over you. So, for example, you complain about a new guy at work who's a jerk, right? The guy was rude to you. He had all these horrible things to say, and he ended up screwing you or whatever. He did something that you didn't like, and you're upset about it, and you're complaining to someone who's supposed to be on your side, right? But a narcissist, rather than being like, "Oh man, that really sucks, babe. I'm so sorry," he'll be like, "Well, to be honest with you, it sounds to me like you might have been the one who was wrong because you're da 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 da," and he said da da da, and you think to yourself, and you might even say to him, "Why do you always defend other people over me?" And he might say something like, "Well, I like to play the devil's advocate." Whatever. It's true. All right, moving on, moving on. Okay, number 53 says, okay, he will expect 100% loyalty and confidentiality from you, but of course can't actually do the same thing for you. There's no reciprocation. It's like a two-faced, yeah, look it up on queenbean.com. Something about two-faced narcissist, one-way loyalty, two-faced narcissist, something. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, number 54 always gives us strings attached. For example, you're broke, you're in college, or life just gets hard one day, and your dad pays your electric bill. He's a narcissist, but then he demands that you, like, I don't know, give him your firstborn soul or whatever. No, but really, he may. For example, here's an example. So say that you have a narcissist mother who's incredibly religious, and she offers to pay for your kid to go to private school. But the deal is that if your kid goes to private school, then you are required to show up at, church 3 times a week for 10 years or something like that. That sounds like a little bit excessive, but it's not. Okay. And then if you don't do the thing that the narcissist wants you to do, what ends up happening is that you end up getting punished. It's awesome. What I mean is, the narcissist will make you feel bad. They'll use your loyalty to them against you. It's terrible. It's not good. Okay. 55 throws a fit or causes a scene if she's not the center of attention at all times. Y'all know. All right. 56 may be jealous of his or her own children, especially those of the same sex. I do not even want to have to explain this one, y'all, but it's true. Women, men, male narcissists, female narcissists, doesn't matter. They tend to be very jealous of, in some cases, of their own children. Um, or if they're not jealous of them, they just simply try to live through them vicariously, and those kids are miserable too. So, yep. And if there are stepkids involved, and especially those of the same sex of the narcissist, they will definitely be jealous of the attention that the mother or father, whoever the primary parent is, and is not the narcissist, gives the child, because of course they think that it's all about them all the time. So 58 has an excessive need for admiration. We talked about that. 59, two-faced. 60, can't ever admit to having done anything wrong. 61, considers himself the punisher. If someone agrees with a point of view that is the opposite of his and tells him so, the narcissist will punish them in different ways. 62, treats the spouse and or children as staff and or possessions. Y'all know. You might be, like a narcissist mother might expect her child to wait on her hand and foot. She might expect her child, she might say, you know, it might only be about the chores. You're useless to me unless you do your chores, or whatever. And if they're not staff, then they're possessions to be cleaned and detailed and primed and prepped and made to look a certain way and treat. It's it's sad. All right. Number 63 is quite offended by any attempt that you make to get a little me time, because that means that you don't want to spend time with them, of course, because everything's all about them. Yeah. 64. They will ask you to stop doing whatever it is, regardless of the level of importance, to get your attention. We talked about that a little bit before. 65 will go ballistic if you're unable to stop what you're doing when they do want your attention. Yeah. 66 may threaten to divorce you. Oh, sorry about that typo. Divorce you or leave you if you won't comply with the requirements that they have for you to live in their little world. Yep. 67 will find and poke your most sensitive areas. And I'm talking mostly about emotional stuff here, right? But for example, if you're someone who's insecure about the way you look, narcissist finds a very subtle way to let you know that other people are attractive to him or her. It's really, really soul crushing for someone who struggles with that kind of thing. And the point is that if the looks aren't your issue, then it might be smarts. Maybe you worry that you're not smart enough, and the narcissist points out how smart other people are. Or maybe you worry that you're not a stylish enough dresser, and the narcissist points out how stylishly other people dress. Whatever it is, the point is the narcissist makes a point of poking at those things that bother you the most, and it's like a subtle thing that they do sometimes, and it's a way to make you feel not only bad about yourself, but also like maybe you can't do better than them, because they need to keep you feeling insecure and worried that you're not good enough, because if they do that, then they obviously they put you in a position to want to stay with them and to be afraid to leave. That's their goal. Not only do they want you to be afraid to go away, they want you to always be there for them when and if they need you. But if they could, they tuck you in a closet when they weren't, when it wasn't convenient for them. You feel me? Yep. All right. 68. They will call you jealous and crazy every time you bring up anything at all about members of the opposite sex. And they use this type of conditioning to make you doubt yourself when they actually do something unacceptable. Yeah, you see the thing? Yeah, I think that's pretty self explanatory. All right, 69. Loves a good roller coaster ride, and his relationships are modeled after a roller coaster. You know what I'm talking about. We talked about this before, the highs and the lows, you know. You've got your love bombing, everything's amazing, and then you got to go back down here. You got to go back down here for your, uh, you know, your gaslighting and your narcissistic rages and your emotional abuse and all that awesome stuff that none of us deserve. Okay, moving on. Yeah, a narcissist sometimes has really weird sex issues or fetishes, and that is not something I'm going to talk about in this video today. But yeah, that is something that's a whole other video. All right. Okay. Number 71. The narcissist may ask you to go way outside of your comfort zone sexually. And there's another typo. Gosh, I really need to check these things before I get ready. Sexually and then emotionally abuse you if you refuse to or become uncomfortable. Now, this might be something very small, like a weird position you don't feel comfortable with, or it might be something a lot bigger, like a threesome or some other weird stuff like that. Okay, things to think about. All right. The point is, if you're uncomfortable with it, don't do it. And if you've got to have a line. You have to have a line. Okay, moving on. Number 72. Acts like your thoughts and feelings aren't real and don't matter. You've been there, you know what I'm talking about. All right? 73. Makes you feel like you're not a real person, especially in the case of parental narcissists, but in any case, especially any long-term relationship. But this particular point is especially true for children of narcissists. They are often made to feel like they aren't real and they don't matter, and that's outrageous and offensive, but it happens. And I just want you to know something right now. You are a real person and you do matter, and your thoughts and your feelings and your ideas, they have value, my friend. It took me a long time to learn that for myself. So, okay. All right. Next up, number 74. Controls your money. We talked a little bit about this financial abuse. May require you to go without stuff that you need, like clothes or medicine, in order to get money to pay for his little habits or his little toys. Because, of course, he's more important than you in his mind. Always, always, right? Number 75, may complain or act hurt when you give him or her gifts. Because, God forbid, you should get a gift that's good enough, right? Number 76, ruins almost every weekend. Number 77, ruins almost every holiday and birthday. Y'all know. Number 78, may steal money from your family bank account in order to indulge bad habits. 79, likes to put you in a state of limbo. You know what I'm talking about? So you have events that you're invited to attend. The narcissist refuses to commit. Either way, he won't say he's not going, and he won't say he is going. And often that, you aren't allowed to commit without the narcissist's consent, whether he is a he or a she. And you end up looking rude and losing friends, and it's outrageous, and it hurts you, and he doesn't care because it's all part of his plan. Because if he can isolate you and make you become his, you know, bitch, for a better lack of a better word, but really just it's about him being in control of every single aspect of your life, isolating you from people that might be able to help you to move forward is the issue. Okay. 80. Did I just say that? Yep, move on. Okay, 81. Compares you to people who you aren't fond of. Okay, for example, if your mother-in-law's a hoarder, husband's a neat freak who doesn't actually do any cleaning, of course, because that's how narcissists are. He might accuse you of being a hoarder if you say don't do the laundry fast enough. Okay, another example. If your sister is, a drug addict, child abuser in prison, and you, as a result of that, probably become a perfect parent who does not touch a single drug or a bit of anything. That tends to happen sometimes. Your narcissist may accuse you of being just like your sister when you have a little moment of weakness, or if you cry, if if he yells at you or she yells at you and you end up crying or you end up reacting emotionally. You're falling apart, you're just like your sister, next thing I know you're going to be on drugs, that kind of crap. Oh, it's frustrating, but that's how they are. Again, they're trying to get under your skin, they're trying to get inside your head, and their goal is to control you, and by breaking you down and tearing you apart, that's exactly what they're going to do. So what you have to do is not allow that. But we'll get to that later. Okay. Number 84. He yells at you or gets angry at you for the way you look at him or her sometimes. I don't even want to go into that. You already know. Number 85. Considers himself the supreme leader of your life. Your life, not his life. Of course, his life too. But what you don't know is really what happens is he's like, this is my life and all these people, this is my movie and these people are just playing in the movie. Sometimes they might even actually say that crap to you. It's real. But also they'll give you little consequences for your infractions of their rules. So, if you don't measure up one day, or you burn the toast or whatever, then then God forbid, well, you deserve to be treated like this because look what you did. Look what you made me do. Anybody know that one? Anyway, number 86 tells you that you need help all the time. They accuse you of being mentally ill or crazy because, again, if not only if they, if they keep talking about how mentally ill and crazy you are, you become, this, they keep saying it. You can become conditioned and start to wonder, am I crazy? Maybe he's right. Or on another note, they also talk about you to other people as crazy and weird and messed up. And again, if you say something often enough, eventually somebody starts to believe it, or they might wonder if it's true. And then that puts you in a position of looking crazy. And of course, if you try to defend yourself, he just like, see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Look at this. It's, oh my gosh, it's crazy making. Did I just say that? Huh? Crazy making. 87 holds you responsible for things you can't control. For example, your kid didn't make the cheerleading team, but, and your narc blames your genetics and spends the next month treating you like crap over it. Because obviously it couldn't be because your kid didn't even want to be on the cheerleading team, or because your kid would rather be in band or whatever. It's because your narcissist has to blame you because it can't possibly be his genes, right? Or whatever, okay? Or her genes, right? Okay, because maybe you were a nerd in school and he or she wasn't, and or maybe your bone structure is bigger or whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. 88 expects to be coddled and babied when he wants it. You already know. 89 requires, of course, in addition to wanting to be taken care of all the way, he also wants blind trust. And he wants you to ask no questions. And he wants this despite oftentimes repeated incidents that prove that in fact he doesn't deserve to be trusted and you have a reason to be worried. But if you actually say to him, look, there's this one and this one and all these things that you did that prove to me that you actually can't be trusted, you know what they'll do, of course, right? Well, everybody makes mistakes. Do I have to live the rest of my life trying to be miserable because da, da, da? You know? Okay. Number 90 will force you to be rude to or flat out lie to in cases, certain cases, friends and even family members at times in order to avoid being the conflict that comes along with having to deal with his behaviors. Whether this is him, sitting across the room acting like everything's fine, but giving you the evil eye, and you know that when this is over, you're in trouble. or this is him just blatantly being rude to your family members or your friends, and not caring how that affects you and their relationship, your and their relationship. It's awesome when they do that. Number 91, they always seem to be undermining literally everything you're working toward. Okay, so if you have goals, they want to ruin them. Okay, so here's an example of that. uh, I personally lost 100 pounds after ending a relationship with a narcissist. And I don't want to say that it was the narcissist's fault that I gained all the weight, because it wasn't entirely this person's fault. But what did happen is that my lack of self-esteem and my lack of feeling that I could be in control of my own life caused me to not make proper choices. And so when I was able to get out from the fog, I was able to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this to myself. Look, I was so unhealthy. And that's what so, but during the time that I was with that, involved with that person, I was not in a position to make those choices for myself, because, at one point, I tried to be a vegetarian, and that person intentionally ruined that for me. Long story. But, they always want to undermine whatever it is. So they want to undermine your weight loss. They want to undermine your ability to succeed at work, because they want you to succeed enough that you can help fund their lives if possible. But in some cases, but they don't want you to succeed more than them, because that would make them less awesome in their mind, which is ridiculous. But it is what it is. Number 92, always offering up constructive criticism. Always. It's not constructive. Did I mention that was sarcasm? Okay. 93. A few words or looking the wrong way for a second can cause a long and drawn out argument. There was a situation with a certain narcissist that I knew that if you said hello to that person on the phone the wrong way, literally a single word, it could cause months of fighting. A word. A word. One word. Uh huh. Yeah, it happened. I'm serious. Moving on. Number 94. Admits on occasion to fighting dirty when they're hurt. But this is only an excuse. Listen, just because they feel so bad about their anger and they say, I should get counseling, I should get help, the fact of the matter is that it's an excuse. It's bad behavior, often thrown in with a bullshit apology during the hoovering phase. It's true. I don't even want to go into it, but yep. Okay. Moving on. Number 95. Oh my gosh, I'm getting over carried away. 97. It's going on without me. This is terrible. I'm going to have to redo this. Okay, number 95. Here we are. Might publicly call you out for things that he thinks you're doing wrong. For example, a Facebook post that might come out, might show up on the narcissist timeline. They say something rude about wives who won't have sex with their husbands. And then maybe he'll tag you and publicly state that you don't give it up on a regular basis. Of course, that has two purposes. Of course, he wants to humiliate you and call you out and make himself look like, poor him. But also, of course, to make other women see that he's not getting any at home, and maybe they'll feel sorry for him and secretly do him behind your back or whatever. And you know what? I hate to tell you this, ladies, but don't be that girl. Because the girl that is going to sit there and go behind other women and try to get involved with their men, you know, she's a victim too. Um, but, you can make a choice to not be that person. If he does leave his wife for you, you're probably going to be the next person who gets left for another person. Something to consider. I mean, some people cheat, some people don't cheat, but you know what they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't know. Moving on. Number 96. We had a little preview for it, but we're back now. May secretly or blatantly cheat on you and expect you to be okay with it. May get mad at you if you refuse to be okay with it and rip you apart, emotionally, hopefully only, but not that you want that. But listen, I just want to pause here and say something that I've said a lot, and I say it repeatedly. If you are being physically abused or sexually abused in your home or in any relationship with a narcissist or anyone else, you don't need to be watching this video or any other YouTube video. What you need to do is you need to get help right now, and you need to get out. You need to tell somebody that you trust. And if you don't trust anybody, go to queenbeing.com and click on the resources page. There is a resources page for domestic violence resources. I have information from several countries all on the page, including, of course, the United States and several other English speaking countries, because I don't really think very many people read me or watch me who don't speak English. So, but anyway, get help, get out. Okay, moving on. 97. May have inhuman like standards for your appearance, which you can never meet. Now, and of course, this is always an excuse to treat you like shit. But just so you know, it wouldn't matter anyway if you were perfect, because then he'd find some other reason to treat you like crap. Or there's also the fact that if you were perfect, other people in the world would want to know about you and would want to be together and connected with you. And he wouldn't like that, because not only would that take attention from him, but it would take attention from him, and it would take your attention from him as his primary supply, because you would be interested in finding out about these people who were interested in you. He doesn't want that. So him or her, a narcissist complaining about your appearance is usually a vanity thing. They expect you to look a certain way on their arm or whatever. You don't deserve it. Be who you are, because you're beautiful as yourself. If you want to color your hair, not that I ever do that. Yeah, I totally color my hair. If you want to color your hair, or you want to wear makeup, or you want to whatever, do it. If you don't want to do those things, don't do those things. There's nothing wrong with being makeup free, my friend. I just happen to like makeup. All right, no, today I'm not doing very well with the makeup, but whatever. It's been a long day. All right, moving on. We're almost done. Number 98. Exploits people, including his own children at times, without even considering the consequences. I told a story on Queen Being about this a while back, where a father had two daughters, basically a few days apart, two mothers. Bunch of drama. One of the daughters was being used as a pawn. The other daughter was being completely ignored and rejected. They were just little children at this time, but it's sad and upsetting and angering. And as a mother, I'm offended by it. It's not my narcissist or anyone that I even personally am connected with, but it's someone that I was dealing with in a coaching situation, and I just I don't like that. Take care of your kids, people. Like, put them before yourselves. I don't even need to tell you this, because you're watching this video because you're dealing with a narcissist, or you have dealt with a narcissist. And so most likely you're the one handling your kids anyway. But moving on. Number 99, may behave as though he's embarrassed or ashamed of you when others are around. And again, this will happen in a number of situations. In some cases, you may never even get to the relationship phase with a narcissist, because you may be some little secret shame of his. And maybe he's cheating on someone, or maybe he thinks that he can do better than you, but you're good enough to sleep with or whatever. And it's frustrating and upsetting, but it does happen. And sadly, a lot of women are willing to sit around and beg and wait, and women who are amazing, women who deserve so much better, and men do the same thing, and partially in some cases I think it's because they don't think they can do better. Sometimes that's as a result of the conditioning that from the narcissist, but in a lot of cases, they people will take advantage of you if you let them. So just remember that. All right. Don't ever. Oh wait, I want to back up. I just want to say one more thing about this on number 99 here. Please never kiss anybody who isn't proud to walk with you in public as a couple. It's that simple. The same thing goes for sex and everything else. If you can stick to that rule in your future dating or your current dating life, if you ever do, come and end up dating again, um, don't be with anyone in any capacity who isn't proud to be seen with you. If you try that, if you do that, that's never going to work out. Never. Okay? All right. And we're going to go to number 100. Almost there. May be insanely jealous of any and all attention you get from people of the opposite sex. On the flip side of this, he may find it, or she may find it, and fascinating and incredible, and may want to publicly claim you. This is all going to depend on the personality, but in any case, it won't be a normal, healthy amount of jealousy, and it won't be a normal, healthy amount of whatever it is when somebody wants to show you off like an object. It will be unhealthy and not good for anyone involved, especially not you. Okay, I'm going to apologize for the video being kind of weird. I've had to stop several times today as I'm making this video for different reasons. So sorry if it's if my shots are strange today. All right. All right. Number 101 needs you to be super crazy jealous and insecure in your relationship at all times and constantly reminds you how much better he or she could have done. This is common. Even if they don't say, I could do better than you, they might say something like, well, there were so many people that wanted to go out with me, or they might say something like, I could get any woman I want. I could get any dude I want. Why would I, I choose you. You don't have to be jealous. Da 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 da. But in the same breath, he'll tell you how many people flirt with him, or she'll tell you how many phone numbers she got passed at the, whatever. They want you to feel like they are important and worthy and awesome and worth stealing from you. But you are not worthy and awesome and important enough to be stolen from them. You see what I'm saying? They want to build themselves up and push you down. That's a standard MO of a narc. Number 102 lies to you about stuff that you actually witness and then calls you crazy if you call him on it. Yep. Gaslighting. Number 100, that was 102. Number 103, our last one for today. Even faced with scientific proof that he or she is wrong, the person will continue to hang on to his opinion or point of view, often accusing you of being the problem. For example, I may have used this example recently, but a mother and a daughter. Daughter takes DNA test, finds out that her DNA is not whatever religion or whatever ethnicity that they claim to be. Daughter tells mother, mother tells daughter that she must have been switched at birth, and basically accuses of failing a DNA test, not passing the DNA test, not doing it right, rather than acknowledging that it's possible that the family stories are lies because whatever. So again, accusing the daughter of being the problem instead of acknowledging the truth, even when you're presented with scientific proof. That's an art thing. Yes, indeed it is. That's my list for today. That was a long one, right? I'm sorry about that. What would you add to my list? Share your thoughts and your experiences in the comments section and let's talk about it. All right? Again, my name is Angie Atkinson. I'm a certified life coach, I'm an author, and I'm a survivor like you. I'm doing great today. You have, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can visit queenbeing.com. You will find plenty of free resources, articles, information, videos, downloads, everything. Most everything there is free. You can visit booksangieWrote.com, which will take you right to my Amazon page. I have 20 books there, many of which are geared toward, more than half of which are geared toward narcissism and narcissistic abuse recovery, and some that are geared towards just you're becoming your best possible self, because quite honestly, I think that's what it's all about. All right. And one last thing, if you visit narcissismsupportcoach.com, that is my personal coaching site where, if you need personalized coaching, I'll be there for you there. Or you can get my free 5-day email coaching course, which is just a series of a few emails over the course of 5 days. And it would take you about 15 minutes a day to do the assignments within them. They're just little tiny things. You don't have to do a bunch of work, but it can change your life, and it's free. So why don't you go check that out at narcissismsupportcoach.com. Otherwise, I'll see you soon, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks, and peace and love, y'all.